Baldoni's lawyer argues that the master manipulator and what she is asking for is extraordinary.
They changed the communications to remove emojis. Are you blaming the New York Times for doing that?
I'm blaming the New York Times for participating with Blake Lively's publicists, part of facilitating the complaint getting filed with the CRD, which is the Civil Rights Division, and knew the complaint was getting filed, encouraged them to file the complaint, had a copy of the complaint before it was filed, and once it was filed, they went with the story.
Did Blake Lively fall for another co-star? It's a question that's on everyone's lips after her recent courtroom outburst involving Justin Baldoni. We've seen this story before with Penn Badgley and Ryan Reynolds, but this time, things have taken a seriously unexpected turn. What really went down on the set of It Ends With Us? Was there more than just acting happening between takes? We're diving deep into the scandal that's rocking Hollywood and threatening to end careers. You won't believe what we've uncovered.
Soon-to-be former actress Blake Lively has made a very unusual demand of Justin Baldoni and those that she is also suing. It seems like the recipient of this beautiful nose job does not have enough evidence against her co-star, producer, and director in the movie It Ends With Us. She is now seeking more proof and has filed subpoenas against not only many individuals, but also a lot of businesses. Lawyers for the Nepo baby have confirmed that subpoenas have been filed against Baldoni and his associates to, quote, expose the people, tactics, and methods that have worked to destroy and bury her reputation and family over the past year.
Did you know that Justin Baldoni, the guy we're all talking about now, used to be a bellhop? Yeah, you heard that right. Before he became a Hollywood heartthrob, Justin was carrying bags and opening doors for hotel guests. Talk about a glow-up. But let's be real, Justin's journey to stardom wasn't all glitz and glamour. He faced more rejections than a guy trying to get a date on a dating app. Seriously, this guy was turned down so many times. He could probably wallpaper a room with his rejection letters. But did that stop him? Nope. Here's where things get really interesting. While most actors in Hollywood are busy trying to land the next big superhero role, Justin had something else up his sleeve. He wasn't content with just being eye candy on your TV screen. Nah, this guy had bigger plans. Remember when Jane the Virgin hit our screens and we all fell in love with Raphael? Well, that was just the beginning for Justin. He used that platform to launch into something totally unexpected. You know what he did? He created a documentary series called My Last Days. And let me tell you, it wasn't your typical Hollywood fluff. This series showed us a whole different side of Justin. While other celebs were posting selfies and partying it up, Justin was out there tackling some heavy stuff. We're talking about real issues that most of Hollywood wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. And you know what? People loved it. But Justin didn't stop there. Oh no, he had to go and write a book too. And not just any book, a book about toxic masculinity. I mean, who saw that coming? Certainly not the Hollywood bigwigs who thought he was just another pretty face. His book, Man Enough, didn't just hit the shelves, it became a bestseller. Can you believe it? Now, you'd think everyone in Tinseltown would be cheering him on, right? Well, think again. Not everyone was thrilled about Justin's newfound influence. Some of the big names in Hollywood started seeing him as a threat. Was Blake Lively one of them? We'll get to that juicy bit later. You see, Justin wasn't just making waves, he was causing a tsunami in Hollywood. He was speaking out about things that made some people uncomfortable. And let's face it, in an industry where image is everything, Justin was like that one kid in class who always asks the questions no one else dares to. As Justin's star power grew, So did the whispers about tension on set. People started talking about how not everyone was happy with his outspoken nature. Was it because he was shining a light on issues that some people would rather keep in the dark? Or was it just good old-fashioned jealousy? Here's the thing. Justin went from being a nobody to being a somebody in record time. And not just any somebody. He became an influential voice that people actually listen to. That's bound to ruffle some feathers, especially among the established stars who are used to calling the shots. So, while Justin was out there trying to change the world, one documentary and book at a time, the Hollywood elite were watching. Some were impressed, others not so much. And that's where our story really starts to get interesting.
And specifically said that those messages were cherry-picked and used out of context. Was there a follow-up phone call? Was there, please tell us more? What do you mean by cherry-picked and taken out of context? There was no investigative journalism done whatsoever. It was a complete reckless disregard for the truth.
The majority of social media has very negative feelings against Taylor Swift's former bestie is because of her. In addition to filing subpoenas with Baldoni and his associates, the Never with Teeth icon also slapped subpoenas to 3 phone carriers: AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile, for Justin's records, as well as his publicist Jennifer Abel and crisis PR expert Melissa Nathan, in the hopes of, quote, exposing the full web of individuals who were involved in the smear campaign against the Plantation Princess.
Blake Lively, America's sweetheart? Or is she? Let's take a closer look at Hollywood's golden girl. You might think you know everything about this blonde bombshell, but trust me, there's more to her story than meets the eye from her breakout role as Serena van der Woodsen in Gossip Girl to her captivating performance in A Simple Favor. Blake seemed to have it all. The perfect career, the perfect husband in Ryan Reynolds, and the picture-perfect life. But behind that $1 million smile, was there something else brewing? Remember those rumors about on-set feuds? They were always quickly dismissed, swept under the rug faster than you could say Upper East Side. But were they true? It's been speculated that Blake had some tension with her Gossip Girl co-stars, especially Leighton Meester. While they played best friends on screen, their off-screen relationship was reportedly not so rosy. And let's talk about that carefully curated Instagram feed. Blake's social media presence paints a picture of domestic bliss that would make Martha Stewart jealous. Homemade pies, DIY crafts, and adorable family moments fill her grid. But was it all for show? Some critics have suggested that Blake's perfect online persona is just another role she's playing. Speaking of roles, did you notice how Blake's friendship with Taylor Swift seemed to blossom right when she needed a career boost? Coincidence? Maybe. Or was Blake trying to stay relevant in a changing Hollywood landscape? After all, associating with the Queen of Pop certainly doesn't hurt when you're trying to keep your name in the headlines. Then came the announcement of It Ends With Us, the adaptation of Colleen Hoover's best-selling novel. Blake called it a passion project, gushing about how excited she was to bring this story to life. But, as we all know, passion can be dangerous, especially in Hollywood. As filming began, whispers of tension on set started to circulate. What was really going on behind the scenes? According to anonymous sources, Blake was reportedly butting heads with the director over creative decisions. Some crew members described her as demanding and difficult to work with. Of course, these claims were never confirmed, but where there's smoke, there's usually fire, right? And let's not forget about Blake's fashion choices. She's known for her impeccable style, often gracing best-dressed lists. But did you know she doesn't work with a stylist? In a 2018 interview with WWD, Blake claimed, "I have control issues and a big ego." That's probably the honest answer for why I don't use a stylist. Is this confidence or just plain arrogance? As the pressure mounted on the set of It Ends With Us, Cracks in Blake's perfect image began to show. The stress of juggling her career, family life, and maintaining her public persona seemed to be taking its toll. Paparazzi caught glimpses of a frazzled-looking Blake, a far cry from her usual polished appearance. With her armor starting to crack, Blake was about to face her toughest challenge yet. And guess who was at the center of it all? None other than Justin Baldoni, the rising star who'd been making waves in Hollywood with his documentaries and best-selling books.
Lawyers for the wife of Scarlett Johansson's ex-husband feel that subpoenaing these records from him and from the companies will, quote, provide critical and irrefutable evidence not only about who, but also about when, where, and how their retaliation plan came together and operated. Wallace was first mentioned in the Beanie Aficionado's complaint back in December, as it was alleged that Justin's PR team hired Jed Wallace and his company Street Relations to help with the alleged smear campaign. He and his company then sued her for defamation this month.
Why this particular case has seized the world. It was just a perfect act of evil that was almost executed in broad daylight. The press was complicit. They almost got it done. And she wants nothing to do with the Justin Baldoni situation. Is she being used, or are people starting to jump into light?
Picture this, a packed courtroom, all eyes on Blake Lively as she takes the stand. But why were they there? It all started with It Ends With Us. Remember when Blake announced this movie? It was supposed to be her crowning achievement, the role that would cement her status as a serious actress. But something went wrong, very wrong. And it all came down to Blake and Justin Dodd as Blake began to speak. The room fell silent. What she said next shocked everyone. She accused Justin of unprofessional behavior. But what did that really mean? Was it just creative differences? Or was there more to the story? The tension in the room was palpable as Justin's lawyer cross-examined Blake, and then it happened. Blake's cool facade cracked. Tears, accusations, and years of pent-up frustration came pouring out. It was like watching a dam break, and everyone in the courtroom was caught in the flood. He questioned my every decision. Blake cried out, her voice shaking with emotion. He undermined my authority on set and tried to change the entire direction of the film. The courtroom was stunned. This wasn't the Blake Lively they thought they knew. Gone was the picture-perfect image of the Hollywood darling. In its place was a raw, vulnerable woman fighting for her career. But here's the kicker. Justin's response was not what anyone expected. Instead of firing back with his own accusations, he remained calm and collected. His lawyer presented evidence that painted a different picture entirely. Text messages, emails, and witness statements suggested that Blake had been the one calling the shots on set, often making last-minute changes and demanding rewrites. One crew member's statement read, Ms. Lively would often arrive on set unprepared, insisting on changes to the script. That disrupted the entire day's shooting schedule. Another revealed she refused to work with the costume designer, insisting on choosing her own wardrobe for every scene. As these revelations came to light, Blake's composure crumbled even further. She lashed out, her voice rising to a near scream. You don't understand the pressure I'm under, she shouted, tears streaming down her face. Everyone expects perfection from me, all the time. Do you know what that's like? The courtroom watched in stunned silence as Blake Lively, America's sweetheart, unraveled before their eyes. It was a moment that would be replayed on entertainment, news channels for weeks to come. But why was Blake so afraid of losing control? Some speculated that it was the fear of losing her carefully crafted image. Others wondered if there were deeper insecurities at play. After all, Hollywood can be a brutal place, especially for women as they age. As the dust settled, one thing was clear: nothing would ever be the same for either of them again. Blake's emotional outburst had revealed deep-seated insecurities and a fear of losing her status in Hollywood. The carefully constructed image of the perfect actress, wife, and mother had cracked, and now the whole world could see the very human struggles beneath. But what about Justin? His calm demeanor in the face of Blake's accusations had surprised many. Some praised him for taking the high road, while others wondered if there was more to his side of the story that hadn't come out yet. The aftermath of the courtroom drama was swift and intense. Social media exploded with hot takes and armchair analyses. Some fans rallied behind Blake, praising her for her honesty and vulnerability. Others criticized her behavior, calling it unprofessional and diva-like. Industry insiders started whispering about the potential fallout. Would this affect Blake's future projects? Would directors be hesitant to work with her now? And what about Justin? Could this unexpected turn of events actually boost his career? As the days went by, more details emerged. It turned out that the tension between Blake and Justin had been building for months. Sources close to the production revealed that Blake had initially been excited to work with Justin, seeing it as a chance to align herself with his reputation for tackling serious issues. But as filming progressed, their visions for the movie began to clash. Blake reportedly wanted to focus on the glamorous aspects of the story, while Justin pushed for a grittier, more realistic approach. This fundamental disagreement led to countless arguments and delays in production.
Baldoni's lawyer argues that the master manipulator and what she is asking for is extraordinary. He explains, quote, "They are asking for every single call, text, data log, and even real-time location information for the past 2.5 years, regardless of the sender, recipient, or subject matter. This massive fishing expedition demonstrates that they are desperately seeking any factual basis for their provably false claims. They will find none."
Well, folks, it looks like the Blake Lively we thought we knew has left the building. The courtroom drama has revealed a side of her we never expected to see. Gone is the picture-perfect image of homemade pies and DIY crafts. In its place, a complex, flawed human being who's struggling with the pressures of Hollywood. But what about Justin Baldoni? Turns out, this David versus Goliath battle might have actually boosted his reputation. His willingness to tackle tough issues head-on has only gotten stronger. Who would have thought that standing up to a Hollywood darling could be such a career move? This whole courtroom saga has done more than just entertain us. It's pulled back the curtain on Hollywood's power dynamics. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other secrets are hiding behind those perfect smiles and red carpet poses? Looks like we might need to keep our eyes peeled for more Hollywood shockers in the future.